At this point, I've done hundreds and hundreds of brand reviews, and I've come to see some very common mistakes that clothing brands make when they're marketing their clothing brand. These mistakes prevent you from being able to make a lot of sales for your brand. They prevent you from being able to build up a quality audience for your brand, and it really hurts your brand's reputation. So in this video here, I'm going to share with you 15 mistakes a lot of clothing brands make while marketing their clothing brand online. You want to avoid these at all costs, and this is going to help you like crazy when it comes to what you should be doing to market your clothing brand effectively online. Apparel Success is sponsored by my buds over at Design Crowd. If you struggle with designs, I really recommend that you try them out. You post a project on Design Crowd, amazing designers from all around the world are going to compete for your project. You choose the winner, then you get that design plus revisions. I've literally sold thousands of these designs on my clothing brand's website, and I got them all made through Design Crowd. If you're interested, head over to designcrowd.com/apparel to learn about the special offer that I have for you, or just use the discount code apparel when you post a project on Design Crowd. All right, so each of these mistakes that I'm going to share with you get progressively more and more important for you to know, so definitely stick around to the end. I promise this is going to help you. The first mistake that clothing brands make when they're marketing their clothing brands online is they post a lot of useless content, and I call this scared marketing. They're posting content that is just sort of like what everybody else is doing. They're aligning with the status quo. They're not really pushing any boundaries. And when they're posting for like months and months, they just don't ever shake things up enough. They don't go back to the drawing board and really experiment with their content enough. And they end up just posting the same useless content over and over again that people aren't finding value in. So like if I go 1 week posting content on social media and it's not getting really good results for my brand, it's not getting out there, I'm immediately going back to the drawing board and figuring out how can I shake this up? How can I be a little bit more polarizing, do something different that's really going to get a lot of views and get my brand out there? Because what's the point of creating all of this content for your brand if nobody is seeing it? You have to get your brand out there somehow, and if you're doing it through content marketing, then your content has to be really good. So get away from posting the same thing that everybody else is doing. Get creative, start experimenting, and don't be afraid to push the boundaries a little bit. The second mistake that so many clothing brands make is they don't have a clear identity. I get DMs a lot that are like, hey Rob, can you check out my brand and let me know what you think? And I go to their Instagram account and I have absolutely no idea what their brand is about, who it's for. It just looks like all these other streetwear brands that are starting up. They all look the exact same, and there's just no clear identity wrapped up in their brand. And you can clearly tell that they're just trying to make money, and there's no real, like, clear, concise statement that sets them apart and gives them that unique personality that you want to see. So you need to have that really clear identity where you know exactly what your brand is and who it's for and what you're creating and how you're carving out your own space in this really competitive industry. The third mistake clothing brands make when they're marketing their brand online, I want to talk to you really quickly about ads for a second, is they focus on a 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 return on ad spend without keeping in mind the unexpected costs and all of the other expenses that go into their brand, and they should be more focused on a 5-to-1 return on ad spend. I know that sounds crazy, and it doesn't actually have to be like a 5-to-1 ratio inside of TikTok ads or inside of Facebook ads themselves, but the return that you should be looking for is a 5-to-1 return on your ad spend. So what this would look like is if you're spending $80 on ads in one day, you want to be aiming for at least $400 worth of sales that day. This is going to keep you in a really healthy profit, likely for your margins for your clothing brand, and also account for any unexpected expenses that you have that month, whether you're paying a bookkeeper, you're paying for promotional items, boxes, inventory that you're not selling through, and things like that. And so you really need to be generous when it comes to the return on ad spend, and you can get sucked into this trap of wanting to scale up ads that are a 2-to-1, and then you realize, oh crap, my margins are way thinner than I realized, and you end up wasting a lot of money. The fourth huge mistake that clothing brands make when they're marketing their brand online, this is one of the most common things that I see, is over promoting products and way too much focus on self-promoting rather than actually offering value content. Like all of their content is trying to sell hoodies, is just posting their hoodies on social media. That white background with the hoodie on it, every single post on their social media account. You can't be doing that. If that's all that you're doing for your clothing brand, your posts are never going to get out there. Everybody's just going to feel like your brand is way too salesy. You're just in a scarcity because you're just trying to make sales. You can't make any sales for your brand rather than giving, rather than creating value and pulling people in through inbound marketing. That's the way to do it. So don't over promote products. Every 10 posts, you can make one that's about your products. So be really careful and ride that fine line between promoting your products and just offering great value to your audience to build up that audience and draw people in. The fifth mistake a lot of clothing brands make when they're marketing their brand online is they just lack consistency. They don't have any discipline as a clothing brand owner to be posting every single day regularly. If you're not posting every single day, if you're not really getting at this and sticking to a rigid content schedule where you're posting every single day high value content, then you can't expect to grow your audience, and you can't expect to get any better results than the efforts that you're putting in. So you have to be really consistent, not just for a week, not just for 2 weeks, but for months and for years in order to really build up an audience and start making those sales that you're looking for. The sixth mistake that a lot of clothing brands make marketing their brand is they buy fake followers to try and improve the perception of their brand, make their brand look more legit. But what this ends up doing is it hurts all of the engagement that you get on social media in the future. It really just makes your brand look phony because it's very clear that you don't have any real engagement on any of the posts that you're making. You're not going to actually get your posts out there to anybody who's authentically following you to begin with. And it's just a horrible idea. So don't buy fake followers. It's a giant mistake that you can make for your brand. The seventh mistake that a lot of clothing brands make marketing their brand online is they don't focus enough effort on engaging with their audience. Let's say you make a TikTok post and it goes viral, and you just kind of leave all of those comments just sitting there, or people are commenting about your hoodies, or they're commenting about something on your social media, and you're not engaging enough. You're just focused on getting viral and going big, but the more that you get personal with it, the more it's really going to help you grow your brand and make more sales. So comment, slide in the DMs, talk to people, really get to know them and get to know your audience. It's going to help you like crazy making sales. The eighth mistake so many clothing brands make marketing their brand online is driving a lot of traffic to a bad landing page. If you haven't spent a lot of time designing your mobile website and making sure that the landing page that you're driving all the traffic to is taking people and showing them what your brand is about. Like, people should arrive on your landing page and go, oh, this looks like a brand that's for me. This looks great. And when there's things spelt wrong, they don't know where the menu is or how to add to cart, it can really screw up the whole perception of your brand. So people are bouncing off your website. You're driving enough traffic, but people are just leaving your website because your landing page just isn't selling them. Spend a lot of time thinking about that first page that people arrive at when they come from TikTok, when they come from the ads that you're running. It's really going to help you convert. The ninth mistake a lot of clothing brands make marketing their brand online is they try and scale their brand up way too quickly. Like, they just blast money into ads. And even if you get the success that you're trying to get through scaling up fast, you run into a lot of really sneaky issues. One of them is it becomes a logistical nightmare. If you don't have all of the things in place to handle all of the orders, to handle all of the customer service, all of the customer support, and you explode upward way too quickly by just hammering up your budget on Facebook ads and TikTok ads, you can really run into issues satisfying customers, making sure they're happy, putting in the care. And so it's much smarter actually to grow nice and steady over time than to just explode out of the gate and not be able to handle the orders that you have coming in. So I know that this might not be an issue for everybody, but I've seen this happen multiple times where people completely ruin the whole brand's reputation by trying to scale up way too quickly. And also, if you try and scale up too quickly and you're not making a lot of sales, you can spend a lot of money on ads and basically blow through your entire marketing budget pretty quickly. The 10th mistake that so many clothing brands make is they lack differentiation. Please don't make this mistake for your clothing brand, okay? It's one of those ones that just doesn't sound important, but it's probably the most important thing in this video. Your brand has to stand out in the crowd. There are so many brands on Instagram, on TikTok, trying to make it, and so many brands just look the exact same. There has to be something about your brand that's unique, that's special. Have a unique voice. Be doing something different that nobody else is doing. The founder of Johnny Cupcakes, this guy sells like millions of t-shirts. He's like one of the best t-shirt businesses ever. He has a bakery, like a t-shirt bakery, where he like has people come in and it's like a refrigerator and they're selling t-shirts out of it. And it's just like this whole unique experience. And he does that because he knows that you have to be different. And he says that every brand that starts up, they should have 10 things that they can pinpoint that's different about their brand than any other brand that's out there. And that's just so important in order for you to really cut through all of the clutter out there and get some serious results for your brand. The 11th mistake a lot of clothing brands make marketing their brand online, I'm about to be a bit confrontational with you, just to challenge you a little bit here, is they have a fear of being on camera, of exposing who they are as the founder in front of their audience on TikTok and on Instagram. I think that this is especially important in 2023, that you remove this fear and that you just dive into it. Because there are so many examples of amazing brands that have blown up on TikTok just by the owner going on and just expressing their personality, expressing their brand, and just being themselves. Like there's this girl on TikTok, her name's Strawberry Milk Mob. This girl sells so many like bikinis or swimsuits and guys swim shorts and stuff, and she just sits on TikTok and just talks all day and just like makes these funny videos. And I think that that's the way that marketing is going now, is you don't have to be so cultivated and so like high production value. You can actually just sort of be yourself and build up an audience. And if people like and trust you, they'll check out your clothing brand and they'll likely buy from you. So it's really important that you get over that fear of getting on camera and you just dive into it. I think that it's really going to help your brand out. The 12th mistake that a lot of clothing brands make marketing their brand online is they're focused way too much on gaining more followers on social media rather than just building a solid community. Your followers don't mean anything if you're not presently engaged with them and if they don't know, like, and trust you. There are so many examples of social media accounts that have millions of followers that aren't making any money. They're not able to make any sales. They're not able to sell any products that they have. And it's because people just follow them, but they don't really care about them. And so having that really strong community vibe with your brand is really going to help you make more sales for your brand. The 13th mistake that a lot of clothing brands make, and I like this one a lot, is they're not attention centric enough. What do I mean by this? This whole game that we're playing here, trying to market your brand, trying to get out there, is about trying to get as much attention as possible for your brand. And if you're being timid, if you're not thinking about this in terms of how can I get attention for my brand, then your brand's just going to be kind of safe and boring. And even when you're making your TikTok posts, you have to think, okay, the first 2 seconds of this video, how am I hooking them? How am I getting their attention? In the ads that you're running on Facebook, in the emails that you're doing, the subject lines, everything is about attention. There's such an important psychology there when it comes to just gaining attention for your brand, and you really have to be thinking about that in every single aspect of your content marketing and in your marketing strategy to begin with. The 14th mistake that a lot of clothing brands make marketing their brand online, this one's really specific, is they don't use hashtags effectively. On Instagram, I was posting for a while there without using that many hashtags, and I found that Instagram didn't really know who to show my content to. The second I started using really relevant hashtags like hashtag Canada, hashtag only in Canada, hashtag Canadian made, hashtag Canadian problems, all of these relevant hashtags, Instagram went, oh, I know who to actually show this to now. Boom, let's show this to like 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 people. Same thing on TikTok. So make sure that when you're using the hashtags for your brand, you use hashtags that are really relevant to your brand concept. And this is also why knowing who your brand is for, knowing what it's about really helps, because it'll help you in every aspect of marketing your brand, just like this one. And the 15th mistake that clothing brands make marketing their brand online is they do not have a focused content strategy, and they don't even understand the purpose of having a content strategy to begin with. What's the point of having a content strategy? There are 3 main reasons why you want to be posting content on TikTok, on Instagram. The first one is for awareness, getting more awareness on your brand. The second one is engagement, building trust, moving people down the funnel. And the third one is just lead generation. So all of this is, why are you posting on TikTok? It's for awareness, engagement, and lead generation. You need to know that. And then you need to think of a special content strategy that's unique to your own brand that you stick to and that you just do because it's aligned with your brand concept, because it's gaining awareness, because it's getting engagement, and because it's developing leads for your brand. So that's really important for you to lock into and for you to understand. I really hope that this video helped. I spent a whole bunch of time recording a completely free clothing brand course for anybody starting up a clothing brand or already running one. All you have to do to get access is go to freeclothingcourse.com, and you can go through it at your own pace, and I hope you enjoy.